Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair and looked at the stars. The ship was quiet except for the soft hum of the engines. He had been traveling through space for 3 months now. This was humanity's first trip beyond their own solar system. The mission was simple: explore new worlds and see what was out there. The New Horizon was Earth's most advanced ship. It carried 5 crew members on this historic journey. Jake was the captain. Lisa Chen was the engineer who kept everything running. Ryan Cooper was the pilot who flew the ship. Amy Rodriguez was the scientist who studied everything they found. Kevin Walsh handled all communications with Earth. They were now in the Kepler 442 system. This system had planets that might support life. Amy was excited about the possibilities. She spent hours looking at her instruments and taking notes. The crew had found 3 planets so far. None of them had life, but they were still interesting to study. Jake stood up and walked to the main window. Space looked endless from here. Stars filled every direction he looked. Some were bright and some were dim. He wondered what secrets they held. Earth felt very far away now. "Captain," Lisa called from her station. "I'm seeing something strange on the sensors." Jake walked over to her. Lisa was frowning at her screen. Numbers and graphs filled the display. "What is it?" "There's a gravitational anomaly ahead," Lisa said. "It wasn't there an hour ago." "The readings don't make sense." Ryan looked up from his pilot controls. "Should we change course?" Jake thought about it. They came here to explore and learn. Running away from strange things would not help their mission. "No, let's take a closer look. But be ready to move if we need to." Amy hurried over with her equipment. "This is fascinating," she said. "The gravitational field is shifting in patterns. I've never seen anything like it." The New Horizon moved forward slowly. The anomaly grew larger on their screens. It looked like space itself was bending and twisting. Colors that shouldn't exist danced in the void. "Distance to the anomaly?" Jake asked. 2,000 kilometers and closing," Ryan replied. Suddenly, alarms started blaring throughout the ship. Red lights flashed on every console. The ship shook violently. Jake grabbed the nearest handrail to steady himself. "What's happening?" he shouted over the noise. Lisa's fingers flew over her controls. "The anomaly is pulling us in." The gravitational field just increased by 300%. "Full reverse," Jake ordered. Ryan pushed the engines to maximum power. The ship groaned and shook harder, but they continued moving toward the anomaly. The gravitational pull was too strong. "The engines can't fight it," Ryan yelled. Amy fell as the ship lurched to one side. Kevin helped her stand. "The hull is under extreme stress," he reported. "Shut down all non-essential systems," Jake commanded. "Divert all power to engines and shields." Lisa worked frantically at her station. "I'm trying, but something's wrong. The quantum drive is fluctuating. If it fails, we'll be stuck here." The anomaly filled their view now. Strange energies crackled around the ship. The metal hull creaked and groaned. "Sparks flew from damaged circuits. Drive containment is failing," Lisa shouted. "We need to shut it down now or it will explode." "Do it," Jake ordered. Lisa hit the emergency shutdown. The engines went quiet. The ship stopped shaking, but they were still drifting toward the anomaly. Emergency power kicked in, casting everything in dim red light. "Damage report," Jake said. Lisa checked her systems. Her face was pale. "The quantum drive is completely burned out. The gravitational stress fried the containment field. We have life support and basic systems, but we can't move under our own power." Kevin tried his communications. "I can't reach Earth. Something is blocking our transmissions." Jake looked around at his crew. They were millions of miles from home with a broken ship. The nearest help was back on Earth, and they had no way to call for it. "How long will life support last?" he asked. 6 months if we're careful," Lisa replied. "But without the main drive, we can't generate enough power for the long term." Amy was studying her instruments again. "Captain, the anomaly is moving away from us. The gravitational field is returning to normal." "That's something at least," Jake said. "Can you repair the drive?" Lisa shook her head. "Not with what we have here. We need parts that only exist back on Earth. The damage is too severe." The crew stood in silence. They all understood what this meant. They were stranded in deep space with no way home. Earth didn't even know they were in trouble. Ryan checked his navigation systems. "We're drifting toward the outer edge of the system. At this rate, we'll be in interstellar space within a few days. There might be asteroids we can mine for materials," Amy suggested. "Even if we find the right materials, Building new quantum drive components will take months, Lisa said, and I'm not sure it's even possible with our fabrication equipment. Jake felt the weight of command pressing down on him. 5 lives depended on his decisions. He had led them into this situation and now he had to find a way out. We're not giving up, he said firmly. We'll figure out a solution. Lisa, start making a list of everything we need for repairs. Amy, scan the system for any resources we can use. Ryan, plot courses to nearby asteroids. Kevin, keep trying to reach Earth. The crew went to work with renewed determination. They might be stranded, but they were not defeated. Humans had always found ways to survive against impossible odds. This would be no different. Hours passed as they worked. The ship drifted silently through space. Then Kevin noticed something on his sensors. Captain, he called. There's something out there. A ship, I think. Jake hurried to Kevin's station. On the screen was a contact moving toward them. It was still far away, but it was definitely artificial. Is it human? Jake asked. Kevin shook his head. The design is completely unknown. And Captain, it's big, much bigger than us. The alien ship approached slowly. As it got closer, they could see it clearly. It was beautiful in a strange way. The hull seemed to flow like water, and colors shifted across its surface. It looked alive somehow. Are they hostile? Ryan asked. I don't know, Jake replied. But we don't have much choice. We can't run and we can't fight. The alien ship stopped near the new horizon. A gentle beam of light connected the 2 vessels. Jake felt his heart racing. This was humanity's first contact with alien intelligence. A voice came over their communication system. It was female and spoke perfect English. Human vessel, this is Zara of the Viridian ship Starweaver. We detected your distress. Do you require assistance? The crew looked at each other in amazement. Not only were they being rescued, but the aliens could speak their language. Jake activated the communicator. This is Captain Jake Morrison. Yes, we need help. Our ship is damaged and we're stranded. I will come aboard your vessel to assess the situation, Zara replied. Please prepare your docking bay. As they prepared for first contact, Jake couldn't help but think that maybe being stranded wasn't the disaster he thought it was. Maybe it was an opportunity. The new horizon drifted in empty space between star systems. Jake looked out at the endless darkness and wondered how their simple exploration mission had become so dangerous. Zara's ship, the Starweaver, stayed close to them like a protective guardian. Captain, Kevin called from his station. The fake ship stopped following us 3 hours ago. We seem to be safe for now. Jake nodded but remained worried. Zara, what was that ship? It looked human but acted hostile. Zara's eyes shifted to a deep purple. The color Jake had learned meant she was troubled. There are things about your galaxy that your people do not know. Dangerous things that I must tell you about. She gestured for the crew to gather around the main display screen. With a wave of her hand, the screen lit up with a star map unlike anything they had seen. It showed not just stars and planets, but territories marked in different colors. This is how the galaxy really looks, Zara said. The red areas are controlled by the hegemony. They are an alliance of aggressive species that conquer and enslave other worlds. Amy stared at the map in horror. So much territory. How many worlds have they taken? Over 3,000 systems, Zara replied sadly. Millions of beings live under their control. They are expanding constantly, looking for new worlds to claim. Lisa pointed to a small blue dot on the map. Is that Earth? Yes, and this, Zara drew a line with her finger, is the hegemony's next planned expansion route. The line passed directly through Earth's location. The crew went silent as they realized what this meant. Ryan was the first to speak. How long do we have? Perhaps 50 of your years, maybe less, Zara said. They moved slowly but surely, like a plague spreading across the stars. Jake felt sick to his stomach. That ship that attacked us, was it working for the hegemony? Not exactly, Zara explained. The ship was built by the Mimics, a species that copies other races' technology and appearance. They scout ahead of the main hegemony forces, gathering information about potential targets. Kevin looked confused. But why attack us? We're just explorers. Because you discovered something they don't want you to know, Zara said. Your mission path was taking you directly toward hegemony space. If you had continued, you would have found evidence of their presence. They couldn't allow that information to reach Earth. Amy pulled up their original mission plan on her tablet. She's right. Our next destination was supposed to be the Wolf 359 system, which is now a hegemony military base, Zara added grimly. If you had arrived there, you would have been captured or killed. Jake realized how close they had come to disaster. So our engine failure actually saved our lives. The gravitational anomaly was not natural, Zara revealed. I created it to disable your ship before you could reach hegemony territory. I had to act quickly to prevent you from flying into a trap. Lisa stared at her in surprise. You caused our breakdown? But then you helped us repair it. I never intended to strand you permanently, Zara said. I only wanted to stop your journey and make contact. My people have been watching Earth for decades, waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves. Why now? Jake asked. Zara's expression became very serious. Because humanity is running out of time. The hegemony has noticed your rapid technological progress. They consider you a potential threat that must be eliminated or controlled. Amy sat down heavily in her chair. What can we do? We're just one ship with 5 people. Earth doesn't even know we're in danger. That's exactly the problem, Zara said. Your people are still thinking like a single-world species. You need to understand that you are now part of a much larger and more dangerous universe. She changed the star map to show other colored regions. The green areas are controlled by peaceful species like the Viridians. The yellow regions are neutral territories. The white areas are unexplored or uninhabited. Ryan studied the map carefully. The peaceful areas are much smaller than the hegemony territory. Yes, Zara confirmed. The aggressive species have advantages. They take resources from conquered worlds to build bigger fleets. They use slave labor to expand faster than peaceful civilizations can manage. How do the peaceful species survive? Jake asked. By being smart instead of strong, Zara replied. We hide our worlds, develop advanced technology, and form secret alliances. But most importantly, we help promising young species before the hegemony can destroy them. Lisa looked hopeful for the first time since seeing the map. You're offering to help humanity? If your people prove worthy of that help, Zara said. Not all species can handle the responsibility that comes with galactic citizenship. Some become aggressive themselves when they gain power. Others collapse under the pressure of knowing they are not alone. Kevin asked the question they were all thinking. How do we prove we're worthy? Zara smiled for the first time since showing them the star map. You already have, in small ways. When that fake ship attacked, your first instinct was to protect your crew and escape, not to fight back in anger. When I told you about the hegemony threat, you thought about your whole species, not just yourselves. But that's just basic common sense, Amy said. You would be surprised how uncommon it is, Zara replied. Many species respond to threats with rage and violence. They make enemies of potential allies and destroy themselves through internal conflict. Jake looked at his crew. They had worked together smoothly during the crisis, supporting each other and making decisions as a team. What do you need from us? I need you to make a choice, Zara said. You can return to Earth immediately and warn your government about the hegemony threat. But without proof, they may not believe you. Or you can continue this mission with me as your guide, gathering evidence and learning about the galaxy. What's the catch? Ryan asked. If you choose to continue, your crew will be changed by what you experience. You will see things that will challenge everything you believe about the universe. You may never be able to return to your old lives. Lisa thought about this. Changed how?
The technology I used to repair your ship was just the beginning.
To survive in this galaxy, humans will need to develop new abilities, enhanced mental capacity, better physical coordination, and most importantly, the ability to work as a unified species. Amy was excited despite the dangers. You're talking about human evolution. Not evolution exactly, Zara corrected. More like awakening abilities that already exist within your species. Humans have greater potential than you realize. Jake felt the weight of decision pressing down on him. Return to Earth with warnings that might be ignored, or continue into unknown dangers that could change humanity forever. If we go back now, what happens to Earth? He asked. Your governments will likely respond with military preparation, Zara said. They will build weapons and warships. When the hegemony arrives, there will be a war that your people cannot win. And if we continue with you, you will learn about technologies and strategies that could help your species survive. But more importantly, you will discover allies who are willing to help humanity if you prove you deserve that help. The crew looked at each other, communicating without words. They had already been through so much together. They trusted each other completely. We need to vote on this, Jake said. Everyone gets an equal say. They spent an hour discussing the options. The choice was between safety and the unknown, between warning Earth and trying to save it. In the end, the vote was unanimous. They would continue the mission. Zara's eyes shifted to a bright gold color which Jake had learned meant joy. I hoped you would make this choice. But I must warn you again, the path ahead will test you in ways you cannot imagine. We understand, Jake said. But running home with warnings won't save our people. Learning how to fight and survive might. Zara nodded approvingly. Then we will begin your real education tomorrow. Sleep well tonight, humans. It may be the last peaceful rest you have for a long time. As the crew prepared for sleep, Jake wondered what they had gotten themselves into, but he also felt a strange excitement. Humanity was about to take its first real steps into the galaxy. The future would be dangerous, but it would also be full of possibilities they had never imagined. The docking bay filled with a soft blue light as the alien shuttle connected with the new horizon. Jake and his crew waited nervously. They had no idea what to expect from their first meeting with an alien being. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. A figure stepped through and Jake's breath caught in his throat. The alien looked almost human, but with important differences. Her skin had a soft blue glow, and her hair was silver like starlight. Her eyes shifted colors as she looked at them, changing from green to blue to purple. I am Zara, she said with a gentle smile. Thank you for allowing me aboard your ship. Jake stepped forward. Welcome to the New Horizon. I'm Captain Jake Morrison. These are my crew members. Zara nodded to each of them in turn. Lisa, Ryan, Amy, Kevin, she said, somehow knowing their names already. I have been observing your species for some time. Your people show great promise. Amy couldn't contain her excitement. You've been watching us? For how long? Several of your decades, Zara replied. We have seen your progress with great interest. Your rapid development and determination are remarkable. Lisa pointed to the damaged sections of the ship. Can you help us repair our quantum drive? We're completely stranded without it. Zara walked over to examine the burned-out drive system. She placed her hands on the metal housing and her skin glowed brighter. The damage is extensive but not beyond repair. However, it will take time. Several of your days, perhaps a week. A week? Kevin asked. Why so long? Your technology and ours work differently, Zara explained. I must carefully integrate Viridian repair methods with human engineering. If done incorrectly, the drive could explode and destroy your ship. Jake felt relief wash over him. They weren't going to die in space after all. We have time. What do you need from us? Zara looked at him with those color-shifting eyes. Patience, understanding, and trust. This repair will require close cooperation between our species. She moved closer to Jake and spoke quietly, so only he could hear. Let's not squander this time. Over the next few days, the crew worked alongside Zara to repair their ship. Lisa was amazed by the alien's knowledge of engineering. Zara showed her how to merge organic components with mechanical systems. The repairs seemed to grow rather than being built. Your metals are good, Zara explained as she worked, but they are dead. We add living elements that can adapt and self-repair. It makes the system stronger and more flexible. Lisa watched as Zara inserted something that looked like crystal veins into the engine housing. How does it work? The crystal networks carry both power and information. They learn from the ship's operation and improve over time. Your drive will be more efficient than before. Amy spent hours talking with Zara about science and the galaxy. She learned that the Viridians were an ancient race that had survived for thousands of years by being adaptable and patient. Many species rush toward power and expansion, Zara told her. They burn bright and die quickly. We learned long ago that survival requires wisdom, not just strength. Are there many alien species out there? Amy asked. Zara's expression grew serious. More than you can imagine. Some are peaceful like us. Others are not. Your species will need to choose its path carefully. Ryan was fascinated by Zara's shuttle. She let him examine the controls, which looked nothing like human technology. The ship seemed to respond to thoughts and emotions rather than physical buttons. How do you fly it? He asked. The ship and I are connected, Zara explained. We share thoughts and feelings. The ship knows what I want before I ask. Ryan touched the smooth control surface. For a moment, he felt something strange, like another mind touching his own. Did the ship just read my thoughts? Zara smiled. It was curious about you. Your species has strong mental patterns. With training, humans could learn to pilot our ships. Kevin worked on communication systems with Zara. He learned that the Viridians had been listening to Earth's radio signals for decades. That's how Zara knew English so well. "We have studied many of your languages," she said. "Your species creates beautiful art through words. Music, poetry, stories. These things show the depth of human emotion." "What made you decide to help us?" Kevin asked. "Your people face great challenges ahead. We believe you have the strength to overcome them, but you will need friends in the galaxy." Jake found himself spending long hours talking with Zara about leadership and responsibility. She understood the burden of making decisions that affected others. "Command is lonely," Zara said as they watched the stars through the observation window. "You carry the weight of every choice, every life under your care. How do you handle it?" Jake asked. "The pressure of representing your entire species?" "By remembering that every being has value. Every life matters. When I make choices, I think not just of my own people, but of all those who might be affected." Jake nodded. "That's a heavy responsibility. Yes, but also a great honor. Few beings are trusted with such important decisions. Your species is about to face that same responsibility on a galactic scale." As the days passed, the crew began to change. Working so closely with Zara was opening their minds to new possibilities. They started to see their own technology and culture from a different perspective. Lisa discovered that human engineering was more creative than she had realized. Zara praised their ability to find innovative solutions with limited resources. "Your people make beautiful things from simple materials. This shows great intelligence." Amy learned that human scientific curiosity was unusual in the galaxy. Many species only studied what they needed for survival. "Your desire to understand everything around you is remarkable. It will serve you well among the stars." Ryan found that his piloting instincts were sharper than ever. Zara's lessons about connecting with the ship were improving his skills. "You have natural talent for understanding machines. With proper training, you could pilot vessels you've never seen before." Kevin realized that human communication was more sophisticated than alien languages in some ways. "Your species can express complex emotions and ideas with great precision. This makes you excellent diplomats and negotiators." Jake began to understand that humanity's greatest strength was their ability to adapt and work together. "Your people can unite despite differences. This is rare in the galaxy. Many species destroy themselves through internal conflict." On the 5th day, something unexpected happened. The ship's sensors detected another vessel approaching. It was human in design, but different from anything they recognized. "That's impossible," Lisa said, looking at the readings. "There are no other human ships in this system." Zara studied the sensor data with concern. "This vessel is not from your Earth. The technology is similar to yours, but more advanced." The unknown ship sent a message. "New Horizon? This is Commander Sarah Blake of the Earth Defense Force ship Pathfinder. We received your distress signal and came to assist." Jake was confused. "Earth Defense Force? We don't have ships like that. And how did they get here so fast?" Zara's eyes shifted to a worried red color. "Something is wrong. The ship is not what it claims to be." Before anyone could respond, the Pathfinder opened fire on the New Horizon. Energy beams struck their shields, causing the ship to shake violently. "They're trying to disable us," Ryan shouted. Zara moved quickly to the nearest control panel. "I must protect my ship." Her hands glowed as she interfaced with the systems. "The Starweaver will defend us, but we need to leave this area immediately." "What about our repairs?" Lisa asked. "Incomplete but functional enough for short-range travel," Zara replied. "We must go now before more ships arrive." Jake made a command decision. "Do it. Get us out of here." The New Horizon's patched-up engines roared to life. With Zara's ship providing cover, they escaped into deep space. But Jake knew this was just the beginning of their troubles. As they fled from the fake human ship, Zara turned to Jake with serious eyes. "Your people are not alone in this galaxy, Captain. And not all the attention you've attracted is friendly." The crew realized that their time together had become much more important than just repairing their ship. They were learning lessons that might determine humanity's survival among the stars. Jake woke up feeling different, though he couldn't explain why. The ship was quiet, but something had changed during the night. He found the rest of his crew already awake in the common area, all wearing the same puzzled expression. "Did anyone else have strange dreams?" Amy asked. They all nodded. Each had experienced vivid dreams about flying through space, seeing colors that didn't exist, and understanding languages they had never heard before. Zara appeared in the doorway, her skin glowing brighter than usual. The dreams were not random. Your minds are preparing for what comes next. Which is what exactly? Lisa asked. Training, Zara replied simply. If humans are to survive in this galaxy, you must learn to think and perceive like galactic citizens. Your current senses and mental abilities are limited to a single world's perspective. She led them to a room on her ship they had never seen before. The walls were covered in crystal formations that pulsed with soft light. In the center was a circular platform with 5 seats arranged around a larger central chair. This is where you will learn, Zara said. But I must warn you one more time. This process will change you permanently. Your brains will form new connections. Your senses will become sharper and you will perceive reality differently. Kevin looked nervous. What if something goes wrong? The process is generally safe, Zara said. But some individuals cannot handle the mental expansion. They experience what you might call madness, seeing too much, understanding too little. Jake studied the strange chairs. What exactly will we learn? How to sense gravitational fields directly like I do. How to communicate without words across great distances. How to perceive the connections between all living things. And most importantly, how to work together as a truly unified team. Ryan sat down in one of the chairs before anyone could stop him. I'm tired of being limited by human senses. Let's do this. The others looked at Jake. As captain, the decision was ultimately his, but he remembered what Zara had said about humans needing to work together as equals. We vote, he said, same as always. This time the vote wasn't unanimous. Kevin voted against the training, worried about the risks, but the other 4 voted to proceed. I won't force anyone, Zara said gently. Kevin, you may observe the process but not participate if you prefer. Kevin thought about it and finally shook his head. No, if my friends are doing this, I'm doing it too. We stick together. Zara smiled and took her place in the central chair. Place your hands on the crystal formations in front of you. Try to keep your minds open and calm. The crystals felt warm under their palms. As soon as everyone was connected, the room filled with a strange humming sound. Jake felt something flowing into his mind like water filling an empty container. At first it was overwhelming. Information poured into his brain faster than he could process it. He saw the galaxy as Zara saw it, with streams of energy connecting every star, every planet, every living being. The connections were beautiful but also terrifying in their complexity. Lisa gasped as her perception of the ship's systems expanded. She could suddenly sense every circuit, every power flow, every mechanical stress point. The new horizon wasn't just a machine anymore. It was a living system with its own needs and rhythms. Amy's scientific mind tried to categorize what she was experiencing, but the new knowledge didn't fit into familiar categories. She could perceive the mathematical relationships underlying all physical matter, but also sense the emotional resonances that connected conscious beings across space. Ryan felt his connection to the ship deepen beyond anything he had imagined. He could sense the quantum fluctuations in the engines, the gravitational stresses on the hull, even the electromagnetic fields generated by his crewmates' nervous systems. Kevin struggled the most with the mental expansion. Images flashed through his mind too quickly to understand. He saw possible futures, alternative timelines, and parallel realities where different choices led to vastly different outcomes. Several times he nearly pulled his hands away from the crystals. Focus on one thing at a time. Zara's voice echoed in their minds. Don't try to understand everything at once. Jake concentrated on his crew, using them as anchors in the storm of new sensations. He could feel their fear, their wonder, and their determination. For the first time, he truly understood what it meant to be responsible for other people's lives. The training session lasted 3 hours, though it felt like days. When it finally ended, the crew sat in stunned silence. The world looked different now. Colors were more vivid, sounds had emotional undertones, and they could sense each other's thoughts without speaking. How do you feel? Zara asked. Different, Jake said, which was a massive understatement. He could sense the crew's emotional states like warm presences in his mind. Lisa felt excited and curious. Amy was fascinated but slightly overwhelmed. Ryan seemed energized and confident. Kevin was scared but trying to hide it. The changes will become stronger over the next few days, Zara warned. You may experience headaches, vivid dreams. and moments of confusion as your brains adapt. Over the following days, each crew member struggled with their new abilities in different ways. Lisa found herself automatically knowing when ship systems needed maintenance before any alarm sounded. She could sense mechanical problems by touching the walls. Sometimes she would start repairing things without consciously deciding to do so. Amy discovered she could perceive the quantum interactions between particles. Scientific equations that had been theoretical before now seemed as real as physical objects. But the constant flow of information was exhausting. Ryan's piloting skills improved dramatically, but he sometimes felt like he was losing his individual identity. When connected to the ship's systems, it was hard to tell where he ended and the machine began. Kevin's communication abilities expanded beyond anything he had imagined. He could sense emotional broadcasts from other beings across vast distances, but he also picked up distress signals from beings in trouble, creating a constant background of other people's suffering. Jake experienced the most dramatic changes. He could sense the connections between all his crew members, feeling their emotions and sometimes even their thoughts. It made him a better leader, but also overwhelmed him with responsibility for their well-being. On the fourth day after the training, their new abilities were put to the test. The ship's sensors detected 3 vessels approaching from different directions. Hegemony patrol ships, Zara said grimly. They found us somehow, but Jake was already ahead of her. His enhanced senses had picked up the hostile intentions before the ships appeared on sensors. They're planning to surround us. 2 will attack from the front while the 3rd flanks us from below. Ryan was already moving toward the pilot controls. I can feel their flight patterns. They're using a standard hegemony formation. Lisa's hands were glowing as she interfaced directly with the ship's systems. Engines are operating at 110% efficiency. I've rerouted power from non-essential systems. Amy was studying sensor readings that seemed to make perfect sense to her now. They're using quantum scramblers to jam our communications, but I can see a weakness in their formation. Kevin was listening to the enemy transmissions with his enhanced hearing. They're planning to capture us alive. They want to know how we got Viridian technology. Jake felt a moment of perfect clarity. His crew was working together like a single organism, each member contributing their enhanced abilities to the group effort. This was what Zara had meant about humans learning to function as a unified team. Can we outrun them? He asked Ryan. Not all of them, Ryan replied, his hands dancing over controls that he seemed to understand instinctively. But I have an idea. Working together with their new abilities, the crew executed a daring escape plan. Lisa overcharged the engines beyond normal safety limits. Ryan piloted the ship through a series of gravitational fields that would have been impossible to navigate with normal human senses. Amy calculated quantum jump coordinates in her head. Kevin provided real-time intelligence about enemy movements. Jake coordinated everything, feeling like the conductor of a complex symphony. They escaped, but barely. As they fled toward empty space, Jake realized that they had crossed a line. They were no longer just humans with advanced technology. They had become something new, a hybrid of human determination and alien enhancement. The hegemony will be looking for us now, Zara said. They know that Earth has made contact with galactic civilization. Let them come, Jake replied, surprised by his own confidence. We're not the same crew that broke down in this system. We're ready for whatever comes next. But even as he said it, Jake wondered if they had gained abilities they needed to survive, or lost the humanity they were trying to protect. The line between human and alien was becoming blurrier every day. Looking at his crew, he could see they were thinking the same thing. They had made their choice, but the consequences were only beginning to unfold. 3 weeks had passed since the crew's transformation. The New Horizon was finally heading home, but they were not the same people who had left Earth months ago. Jake could feel the change in everyone, including himself. Their enhanced abilities had grown stronger, but so had the weight of what they now knew about the galaxy. Earth is still 2 days away, Ryan reported from the pilot's seat. His connection to the ship was so deep now that he barely needed to look at the instruments. All systems are running perfectly. Lisa smiled from her engineering station. The ship had never operated so smoothly. Her ability to communicate directly with the mechanical systems meant problems were fixed before they could become dangerous. The Viridian enhancements are working better than I hoped. Amy was studying data they had collected during their extended mission. With her enhanced mental abilities, she could process information at incredible speeds. I've compiled a complete report on hegemony technology, peaceful species territories, and potential alliance opportunities. Kevin had been quiet for most of the journey home. His expanded communication abilities meant he was constantly aware of radio signals from Earth. I'm picking up normal broadcasts from home. Sports, news, entertainment. They have no idea what's coming. Zara sat in the observer's chair she had claimed as her own. She would be humanity's first alien visitor. A responsibility that weighed heavily on her. Your governments will not want to believe what we tell them. People rarely accept truth that threatens their comfortable worldview. Jake understood her concern. He had changed so much that he wondered if he could still relate to ordinary humans. We'll make them listen. The evidence is too strong to ignore. Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the ship. Kevin's enhanced senses had detected something before the instruments did. There's a ship ahead. It's broadcasting a distress signal. On the main screen, they could see a damaged vessel drifting in space. The design was unlike anything in human databases. The ship's hull was cracked and debris floated around it like a metal cloud. Life signs? Jake asked. Amy's enhanced perception allowed her to scan the ship more thoroughly than normal sensors. 3 beings barely alive. Their technology is failing. Zara's eyes shifted to a worried yellow. That vessel is hegemony design. Probably a scout ship. The crew looked at each other. This was exactly the kind of decision that would define what humanity became in the galaxy. They could ignore the distress call and continue home safely. Or they could risk everything to help their enemies. They're dying, Amy said quietly. Lisa checked their supplies. We have enough medical equipment to help them. But if they're hostile, Ryan was already changing course toward the damaged ship. I'm not leaving anyone to die in space. That's not who we are. Kevin was monitoring the distress signal. They're not asking for help from the hegemony. The message is being broadcast on general emergency frequencies. Jake made the decision he knew his crew expected. We rescue them. But we take precautions. They brought the 3 survivors aboard the New Horizon. The aliens looked like a cross between insects and reptiles, with compound eyes and scaled skin. They were unconscious and badly injured. Zara was amazed. These are Kythera. I thought their entire species had been enslaved by the hegemony centuries ago. Amy and Lisa worked together to treat the aliens' injuries. With their enhanced abilities, they could understand the creature's biology in ways that would have been impossible before. The medical bay became a complex operation as they tried to save 3 completely foreign life forms. After several hours, the largest of the 3 aliens woke up. He looked around fearfully until he saw Zara. Viridian, he whispered in a language that the crew somehow understood thanks to their enhanced abilities. Yes, and these are humans, Zara replied gently. You're safe now. The alien's compound eyes focused on Jake. Human? The new species the hegemony fears? Jake was surprised. They fear us. We're just explorers. No, the Kythera said weakly. You are something they have never encountered before. A species that develops quickly but remains cooperative. Most races become aggressive when they gain power, or they become slaves when threatened. Humans do neither. Over the next day, as the Kythera recovered, they shared their story. Their names were Vex, Cora, and Zint. They had been part of a secret resistance movement within hegemony space, working to free enslaved worlds. The hegemony is not as unified as they appear, Vex explained. Many species were forced to join. Some of us have been working for generations to undermine their control. Cora, the smallest of the 3, had been a spy in the hegemony military. Your species has created something new. The reports say humans can work with other species as equals, sharing technology and knowledge without trying to dominate. Zint, who was some kind of scientist, was fascinated by the crew's enhanced abilities. You have combined your nature with Viridian training. This creates possibilities the hegemony cannot understand or counter. Jake realized they had found something more valuable than just information about their enemies. They had found allies already working within the hegemony to bring it down. How many resistance groups are there? He asked. Hundreds, Vex replied. Maybe thousands. But we work in isolation, afraid to trust each other. The hegemony's control depends on keeping the enslaved species separated. Amy saw the implications immediately. But if someone could unite the resistance groups, the hegemony would collapse from within, Zara finished. Their strength comes from using conquered species against each other. A unified resistance would be unstoppable. As they approached Earth, Jake faced his biggest challenge yet. How do you tell an entire planet that they are no longer alone in the universe? That hostile aliens are planning to attack, and that humanity's best hope for survival involves changing into something beyond normal human limits? The answer came from an unexpected source. As Earth grew larger on their screens, they received a transmission from their home planet. New Horizon, this is Houston Control. Please respond immediately. We have been tracking unknown vessels in our solar system. Kevin checked his instruments. There are 3 ships in orbit around Earth. The designs match what we've seen from peaceful species. Zara's eyes brightened. The Galactic Council has decided to reveal themselves. They must have determined that humanity is ready for contact. Jake opened a communication channel to Earth. Houston Control, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the New Horizon. We are returning with vital information about galactic civilization and humanity's place in it. The response was immediate and confused. Captain Morrison? You've been missing for 4 months. Where have you been? 4 months? Jake realized that time moved differently when traveling between star systems. We have been exploring beyond our solar system. We have made contact with multiple alien species, both friendly and hostile. Stand by for military escort. Houston replied. Do not deviate from your approach course. As military ships surrounded them, Jake felt a mixture of pride and worry. Humanity was about to take its first official steps into galactic civilization. But would they be ready for what that meant? Zara placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Your species has already proven itself worthy. The compassion you showed to the Kithra, the courage you displayed in hostile territory, and the wisdom you gained through training, these qualities will serve humanity well. The New Horizon entered Earth's atmosphere with 3 alien guests and technology that could change the course of human civilization. As they descended toward the landing pad, Jake could see crowds of people waiting for them. News crews, government officials, scientists, and ordinary citizens who had heard rumors of first contact. Are we ready for this? Lisa asked. Jake looked at his crew, his family, and felt their enhanced connection humming between them. They had survived impossible dangers, learned incredible truths, and gained abilities beyond normal human limits. But more importantly, they had remained true to the values that made humanity worth preserving. We're ready, he said confidently. We know what's out there now. We know what's coming, and we know that humans can handle whatever the galaxy throws at us. As they landed, Jake thought about Zara's words from so long ago. Let's not squander this time. They hadn't squandered it. They had used every moment to grow, learn, and prepare. The breakdown that had stranded them in deep space had become humanity's first step toward joining the community of galactic civilizations. The future would be challenging, but it would also be full of possibilities that no human had ever imagined. And thanks to their time among the stars, humanity would face that future with eyes wide open and allies at their side. The real adventure was just beginning.